Everyone, welcome to another episode of Get Social with Bond Finance. My name is Sarah Wilkins, and I'm here today with Bruce Mainwaring from Bond. Hi, Bruce.
Hi Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well indeed. I'm excited. We're going to do a few vlogs on HMOs. So I'm going to do some
Yes,
basic ones, then I'm going to get a bit more uh, serious, again looking commercial valuations, then probably finish off with top tips for HMOs.
brilliant. Well, it's an interesting tip for me because I specialize in managing HMOs, so this
You
is
certainly
good episode.
do. Exactly. So let's crack on. So we're coming off the very basic
Yeah.
parts of HMOs, just to give people a good grounding of what an HMO is. So let's start at the beginning. And let's cover off who are Bond. So I started Bond back in 2004. We're FCA regulated and founding members of the NACFB. All my brokers are qualified, and I got two very distinct departments. And a client may start off in one department with a small HMO, and then he may come back and do a bigger HMO and go into the commercial department. So I split my company into two. This is the merry band of men and ladies. We're about 12 of us, and we're based next door to the Bank of England in Gresham Street.
Good
So,
location.
it's a very nice location. So, what is HMO? So, it stands for House in Multiple Occupation. It's where a building or part of a building, such as a flat, where two or more households reside. That is the definition, but lenders actually work off three or more households. Okay?
Okay.
Now, and where they need to share basic amenities like a kitchen or a lounge or bathrooms. Like bed sits, you share bathrooms, but you
Hmm.
normally have got cooking facilities. HMOs have sort of gone the other way, where you generally share cooking facilities and sometimes got your own en suites.
Yeah.
What is a household? A household is basically defined as your partners, yeah, your husband, your wife, relatives, or your actually domestic staff, if your house is that big. Basically, we're looking at three or more households. Okay, is the definition of an HMO where sharing basic amenities. Now, this is where lots of confusion comes around.
Hmm.
Planning permission. You've got a family house, yeah. That will have C3 planning. Now, under permitted developments or PD, you can actually rent it out, and as long as it's lawfully done, to 3 to 6 unrelated people, and you automatically get C4 planning under permitted development. And this is the whole issue with valuations. When a valuer comes round and looks at a property in a non-Article 4 area, because you can convert it, because it's interchangeable under PD,
Yeah.
is he valuing a house or is he valuing an HMO? And this is the main issue. Now, some boroughs and some counties and councils have basically put in an Article 4 directive where you need to get planning permission to build or run an HMO. And that's called an Article 4 directive. Now, most people think Article 4 directive is a bad thing, but it's actually quite a good thing if you're a professional landlord because it creates scarcity value and drives up the value of the property. So you can actually get a yield based valuation instead of a bricks and mortar based valuation. Now, when you have more than 6 people, now a lot of people talk about rooms. It's not rooms, it's the amount of people living in the property. Okay. Because you can have a 6 bed property and have 7 people living in it. And if you've got that, A, you need to get planning permission, and B, and that planning permission needs to be sui generis. And If you've got a big, what I call lumpy HMO, and sui generis, you can definitely get a yield-based valuation. And later off, I'll cover off which lenders instruct bricks and mortar valuations and which lenders instruct commercial yield-based valuations, because you may want a higher value.
Yeah. And also what a commercial value is as well. For some people, it might not.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, planning and licensing. I have this conversation all the time. Okay. And I speak to them and say, right, have you, the property's in an Article 4 area, have you got C4 planning? And they send me a copy of the license. I go, yeah, I've got the planning. No, that's the license.
Yeah.
Okay. Licensing and planning are two different departments. And even if the HMO has got a license, you need to check the planning if it's in an Article 4 or there's 7 or more people. Again, I'm talking about people, not rooms.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a license is required, definitely, if you've got 5 or more people. That's called mandatory licensing. But some boroughs have got additional licensing, like Lambeth.
Yeah, and Portsmouth.
And Portsmouth, okay. Yeah, and if you've got 3 or more people, you need additional licensing. Now, my top tip is always read up on the local council licensing rules and understand them fully, especially if you're developing and doing a BRR, buy, refurb, remortgage. You need to understand the local rules, because the last thing you want to do is build something which is too small. Okay, and then you get knocked back with your license, and then you need to spend more money. Yeah. Just get it done the first time. Now, the general rule of thumb, if you've got your bedrooms, which are less than 10 square meters, but bigger than 6.71 square meters, you need a communal living space. And depending on the amount of people in the property, it dictates the size of that shared space. Now, this is just snipped out of the RICS guidelines on HMOs, but check your local guidelines. Yes. Local guidelines trump national guidelines. Okay? Yeah. And if anything, if you're going to be building an HMO, check the national and local and make sure it meets both. Therefore, you're going to be bulletproof for any changes. So, as you can see, if you've got 5 people, the kitchen needs to be at least 7 square meters, and the total communal living needs to be 18 square meters. Now, if you're combining and doing a kitchen diner, just add them together and just make sure you've got a big enough.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you don't want to get unraveled later on down the line.
No, not at all.
Right. Banks, valuations, hot topic. Bricks and mortar versus commercial yield. Now, I'm not going to go into commercial yield in this. That's our next next chapter. So, buy-to-let lenders. I always look at not the lender. I look at what the lender valuation firm they use, because if you've got en-suites downstairs and you get Connells round, they'll give it a nil valuation. So you need to understand what the HMO is. Has it got kitchenettes? Has it got pot noodle stations? Has it got en-suites downstairs? And then you look at the valuation firms you can use. Then you look at the lenders. That's how I like to do things. Because if you instruct Kent Reliance on a 6-bed, 6 en-suite, and they send Connells round, not one of their sophisticated valuers, you're going to get a nil value. Okay, all these lenders will instruct a bricks and mortar value, and probably if you're doing C3 to C4 in a non-Article 4 area, the best outcome you can get on a valuation is probably purchase price plus build cost plus a little bit of a premium. Okay. You're not going to really get a commercial yield-based valuation. Paragon Foundation, maybe, but there's better There's better providers out there.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a more complex HMO and you want a yield-based valuation when the HMO is over-adapted. Now, over-adapted is the new saying last year. It's basically where you've got a six bed or six bed, six en suite. And the property can never ever be sold as a C3 house in a non-Article 4 area. That will allow me to instruct a long form valuation, and you're more than likely going to get a yield based off the back of that. If it's in an Article 4 or sui generis and it's a brand new HMO you're creating, you probably want to look at a commercial lender like sort of Shawbrook, HTB, Lenco, Quantum. They all use panel valuation firms. Mainly VAS we use, but Shawbrook and HTB do use appraisers as well. We like VAS as we find them more commercially minded. So you
Yeah.
can actually put together a valuation pack. And in that valuation pack, I want to see before and after pictures, before and after floor plans, um, rentmyroom.com comparables. Are there any other sold HMOs in the area?
Hmm.
Make the easiest possible for the
The
valuer, and you
valuers, yeah.
probably the outcome you want. Right, that's me done, Sarah, for this episode. And next week we'll touch on commercial yield-based valuations. How's that
Yeah,
sound?
that's great. Thank you. This is a really, really good basis just for anyone wanting to know the nitty-gritty of what an HMO is. And yeah, for our more sort of seasoned investors who are doing those high scale HMOs, tune in next week and we'll go through the commercial valuations.
Wonderful. Bye, Sarah.
Thanks, Bruce. See you next week.
See you next
Bye,
week.
everyone.